Welcome to Life at LI.F I. Here we talk about chads at LI.F I who built this amazing company. Today we are joined by Johann, who is the lead DevOps at LI.F I. So welcome, Johann,
Yes,
and thanks for doing this.
yeah, welcome. No worries. Thank you for having me. This is great.
You are one of the most senior people in the company. You have 15 years of tech experience and you work in crypto. So how does that all work together?
That's you're making like I'm a fucking OG and like super old school guy and super old. I'm not. I'm just 40 years old. So yes, I have kind of a lot of experience, but in most more traditional type of companies like Web2 stuff. So yeah, I was mainly working on computer, and this is just what makes me being interested into crypto, into blockchain, into new technologies in general. And yeah, I've been working my way through APIs, through various old school system. I've been working in insurance companies that are using super old fashioned type of system, like super old. Like people that are like, I don't know, 60 years old are still maintaining. That is really crazy. And somehow the type of technology that I was working with was very interesting. Just working on the cloud, working on managing the different production application and the production state of the application was super interesting. And the more recent the technology, the more interesting it was. So at some point, I've been leaning toward checking some new technologies, such as the blockchain ecosystem and the blockchain technology. I was very impressed and very intrigued by how this whole um, non-double spend technology was working, this whole computer proof and proof of stake or proof of work was working. So I've been checking that, and this is how I've been like triggered by blockchain, and I've been like joining the blockchain ecosystem.
So what was that one moment when you thought like this is just more than a hobby? You want to fully transition into crypto and you want to build in
Mhm.
crypto. So when did that happen and what was the pull behind it?
So that's kind of an interesting question because I discovered crypto and blockchain around 2013. At the time, that was the Namecoin era. So there was a Litecoin, Lotocoin, Dogecoin, ETH, of course, that was present, and Bitcoin and Litecoin and a lot of Namecoin that was around there. The technology was not necessarily super present. There was this whole proof of work concept, and everything was still working. That was very interesting. And I was interesting because I was building computers for my friends. So I was purchasing parts of the computer and building rigs like that. And then I started thinking, okay, let's build a miner rig, right? So I bought I don't know, 4 or 5 graphical card units. Plus a big power supply and some like plastic case, and I put all of them together, and somehow it was working, and it was super interesting because yeah, I don't know, it was just like mining at home, and at the same time I was producing a lot of heat. So it was during winter. So that was super cool because we had a new heater at home. My wife was super happy about that. And then, yeah, I discovered that. But that was just a hobby. And then finally around, I think it was 2019 or something like that, 2018, 2019. I've been going back into crypto blockchain ecosystem, checking what was the new verticals, what was the new rationale and topics around that. And I saw a lot of DeFi, a lot of NFT, and a lot of new related topics that was appearing. So that's at this moment that I was thinking that, yeah, if the thing that I'm doing with the computer is something that can work for Web2 companies, but also for Web3 companies. So if I want to be able to work on a very interesting functional topic, which can be blockchain ecosystem, then yeah, I can still do that with the skill that I have. I just need to make the jump. And at some point, I made the jump. That was a big jump because basically I left from Japan, where I was working for the insurance company, and I moved back to Europe in Spain, where I switched company and I work for Consensus.
Mm. So you just told us like how you used to mine using rigs, and you are saying you are not an OG. So it is very hard to believe that because you've been in crypto since 2013, and I was just 13 years old back then. So you have been in crypto since I was a kid. So you are really an OG for me. Uh,
Yeah, maybe I'm kind. Yeah, that's true. But I don't feel like I'm an OG because I haven't participated in the whole beginning of Ethereum. Basically, I've been mining from 2013 to 2014, 2015. And then in 2015, I moved in Asia with my wife. And at this moment, I completely forgot about everything crypto related, blockchain, mining rig, and stuff like that. I was not even checking the prices, not checking the charts or whatever, or any kind of crypto news. I was just like working on something else, completely working on something else. And I went back into this topic around 2018, 2019 to discover that, yes, I still had some bags that I completely left over and completely forgot about. And I went back into the technology, into everything that was around blockchain ecosystem. And that's where I was completely hooked.
I think the bags are doing really well right now. The bags.
Well, it's funny because my wife told me that those are chocolate coin, right? Those are chocolate chip, exactly like the chip that you can have when you are a kid, and this is chocolate chip. You cannot buy anything with that. But the more we are moving forward and the more there is integration with Visa, MasterCard, or ways that you can bridge your cryptocurrencies, your digital currencies into the real life world, right? Which makes those coins more and more relevant for what we want to do in my family. So that's that. Yeah. The bags are doing great right now, but I mean, it fluctuates so much that it's just a matter of drawing the line on where you want to change those cryptocurrencies. If I switch those cryptocurrencies into the real world, then yeah, that's fine. But it's like ending kind of an era, It's like ending a period of those coins has been in my bag since like ages ago. It will be strange to move them to the real world and putting them at use, like going into the grocery store or buying something with that. It's like, yeah, you are giving them proper context and proper value, but right now they are my bags, they are my bags of crypto, and I mean they are representing old school stuff, right?
Yeah. So going back to old school stuff, I think I can ask you these questions because you have been building in crypto on and off for a long time. So what is something that you feel like a new developer entering the crypto space in 2016, 2017 would have felt like? What is the difference between entering as a developer in 2016, 2017 versus entering the crypto space right now? And how, is it better or worse?
That's a good way of comparing mindset and comparing technology. Back in at the beginning, the technology was not necessarily super stable. The whole ecosystem of tools and libraries that you can use were not necessarily present or mature enough for you to use. There was this library that is Web3.js that allows you to interact with the blockchain or interact with the user wallet. That has been replaced by ethers.js. Then it is kind of being replaced by VM. That is another library. This is just for the interaction from your application, from your dApp with the blockchain. And this was not mature at the time. The same goes with everything that was related to Solana, related to the smart contract that you, no, so, not sorry, not Solana, but EVM smart contract that you were building. At the time, actually, Solana was not even existing. But yeah, I would say that the main difference is that the tool set and the toolkit that you have as an engineer, whether you are a smart contract engineer, a DevOps engineer, or a dApp developer, was completely different. Most of the elements that you wanted to deploy and to develop, you will have to do it by yourself back in the days. Now, when we are developing dApp and smart contracts, you have a shitload of tools that you can use at your disposal that will help you go faster and deploy stuff in a more secure way. And yeah, it will be easier for you to develop like a dApps that will interact with a user wallet, might be MetaMask, might be Phantom, might be whatever we want, and then interact with your application or interact with some smart contract that you wrote. This is something that nowadays an application that can basically interact with a basic smart contract, with a basic front end being deployed on production using Vercel, for example, something that can take like one day. And before, back in the day, it was something that will take maybe weeks of work. So there's this. The whole ecosystem is much more mature in terms of development, in terms of tools, in terms of libraries that you can use. But I would say that the mindset is a little bit different. Right now, nowadays, the mindset is much more like blockchain is becoming a buzzword. Exactly, like you can find buzzword like I don't know, DevOps, AI, I don't know, quantum mechanics and stuff like that. Those are buzzwords that will make the world circle around, and the whole ecosystem of recruiters and job posting, et cetera, will happen. So there are a lot more people that are just thinking, okay, I'm out of my school, I'm graduated, and now I can just take like some kind of a boot camp for 3 months or 6 months, and I'm a smart contract engineer, for example. Or I can just go and look at few tutorials online on YouTube or whatnot, and then I would be a front-end engineer and I would be a DApp developer. But that's not the case. There is before, we tend to have a lot more time spent on building the foundation, right? Knowing your foundation, computer science, the foundation of the language that you're using, the way that your application will consume memory, CPU, the way that it will behave when you are running locally or when you are running on production, the way that you are going to interact with external third-party system that can be a database, a cache system, or whatever. Right now, everything is so abstracted. You don't see that when you are coding, basically, that most of the developers, they don't know how their application should run and how their application should behave in a normal condition, or how it will behave when in surge of request, or like in this kind of situation. And that's great because we have a lot of tools, but at the same time, those tools, they are hiding away the complexity of the computers that are behind that. And I think that this is somehow one of the difference that we can see between before and right now.
Also, what do you think about developers using AI to ship apps? So there have been a lot of apps and like a lot of tools that help developers to code faster. And I don't know about efficiency because I'm not a developer, but
Mm,
code faster and deploy faster and reach the end state of the app or launch the app really fast. So what are your thoughts on
yeah.
that?
Well, it's a good thing. Again, it's a good thing that we have more and more tools that we can use at our disposal in order to do the thing that we want to do, right? It means that we can produce more quickly, we can deliver faster, and it's for the best, right? But as in all tools, you need to take it with a grain of salt, and you need to take a little bit of a step back. So every time we are, for example, recruiting for DevOps position, or we are interviewing DevOps, we are asking if they are using AI tools in order to build their technical challenge, or to use it on their daily activities. It's a good tool to have. It's good that you can use it, but most of the time you will use it, and you will need to spend some time understanding what is the response from the AI tools that you are using. So let's say that I'm asking, can I have the regular expression that verify that a string is a male, basically verifying that what you enter in some specific field that is male should be a male is actually a male. Then yeah, it can be easy, but it can be faster with this kind of tool, but you will still have to manage and to see all the edge cases and to verify that what the tool said, what the AI said, it's for you, is matching your requirements, is actually matching your requirements. So basically, before, without this tool, we were able to do exactly the same, but it was more, it was a better training ground for engineers, because they had to look online, they had to search, they had to understand what they wanted to do, understand what is the possible solution with the different options, etc., etc. So that was a better way for the engineer to gain experience and maturity. Right now, if you go online, you go on ChatGPT, on Claude, or whatever AI tool that you are using, you're asking the question about anything and you will get the answer directly. That's great, but most of the time we are thinking that this answer is definitely the best and definitely the one that will work, but that's not necessarily the case. So I would say that it's exactly as like every other tool. You need to take it with a grain of salt. You need to analyze what it's saying. You need to take a step back and analyze the answer that this AI is giving to you. On top of that,
Yeah.
speaking about AI, there is something that is happening like way more now in the past few months that was happening before. It's the AI coins. Like a shitload of coins has been created by just AI, and this is the meme coin revolution. There was this meme coin about dogs, cats, birds, whatever, and now there is this meme coin situation about AI, right? So all the coins are like, yeah, AI generated coin, or this is an AI that I give some ETH, and now it's creating a Twitter account. It's generating a lot of things. It's now deploying a coin on its own and publishing it on the screener. Well, that's fine, but I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you will want to have a real team behind that you will want to have a real use case or real, I don't know, relevancy behind that. And this kind of coin are just like putting all together some technologies and saying, yeah, look, we have been putting blockchain, AI, and meme coins on the same time at the same time, and this is what we have. And you're like, yeah, but what is happening? What is happening in this world, right? what are you doing with that? So that's
I
kind of funny, but again, from far.
Yeah, I think, but like that's the reason it's called a meme coin because it has no intrinsic value, but it has that attention value that it
Yeah,
gets.
exactly.
So I'm going on a tangent here, but like I am pretty sure you know Sarthak, and Sarthak and I had this chat about narratives and trends a while back. So around a month back, we talked about creating the most trendy way to have crypto attention is creating a ZK verified chain abstraction protocol so that you can cover all set of eyes in the Web3 space, which is powered by AI.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So talking about narratives, so you obviously have seen a lot of narratives since DeFi summer, since the NFT boom, since like there is no future of crypto to yeah, we are so back again to AI coins. So which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite?
So my favorite narrative is definitely real world assets because I do believe that the way that we can interact with the blockchain in a much more larger audience, like with your mom, grandpa, your all the people that are not uh, techno related or techno interested, is by having real world assets that are managed by crypto blockchain elements, like by with NFT and stuff like that. You can think about, of course, renting apartment, housing, and real estate that can be managed with real world asset. You can also think about a car. You can think that the systems such as like Uber or Deliveroo or Uber Eats or this kind of stuff could be managed with some kind of um, token incentive, and like it will incentivize having people doing exchange directly with one another rather than going through a company that is like Uber Eats, and every time you want to work with them or you want to order something with them, then you know that there is a fees that you have to pay that are directly that are not directly given to the person that is delivering your food at your doorstep, right? That's the same for insurance, for example. If you want to insure a car, if you want to have a car that you can use that is shared inside the neighborhood, or to have some kind of when you have some kind of a building with multiple apartments inside that, you always have this kind of uh, management agencies that are managing everything that is common for the whole building. And this kind of companies, they can also benefit from crypto. I like this narrative because it's really a way to bridge what is inside the blockchain ecosystem using the blockchain technology with what we have in the real world. And this is the way that you are going to target an audience of millions of people, even though they don't realize it, even though it will be completely indoor from them or completely hidden. It will be there, it will be used, and I think it's a real benefit from for the world in general. This is really the one that I love the most. The one that I was very that I didn't like so much was probably everything around NFTs. I'm not so fan about the whole NFT. I went into NFT NYC. I think it was in 2018 or 19, something like that, or 2020. That was great. That was really a nice place, and that was really so much energy, so many people. That was really huge. But at the same time, the narrative and the way that it's delivered to everyone was like, yeah, this is digital art. This is the way that the artist can be able to live and sustain from their piece of art. But at the same time, I don't believe that it's a good way, because art in general need a lot of information about the context. For example, if you look at one piece of art from for example Van Gogh or any kind of or Picasso, in order to understand what you have in the painting, you need to have the context. You need to have the era that it was painted on. You need to have the mindset of the artist. You need to understand what was his life at this moment, what was the life around him, was he living in Paris, was he living in Spain, was he living in New York, and what was the atmosphere at this time, in order to understand what the art is about and what are the emotion or the feelings or the message that the artist wanted to deliver into this piece of art. this is a message that is completely abstracted away with the NFTs, because the NFTs are just switched from one end to the other. One NFT is exactly the same as the other NFT, but with the cap that will be different, or the eyes that will be different. This is profile picture. Profile picture is good. This is good, but I mean, you don't make a business out of that. The NFT technology, the standard that is behind that, ERC 721 or ERC 1155, they are very, very interesting. Those standards are very great to define non-fungible tokens. So that's great, but this is not necessarily something that I will see the art thrive with those standards, because I think that, again, there is a whole lot of information that are missing, and we are using them just for the sake of capitalism and making money out of that. And this is not necessarily something that will save the world. This is a little bit something that can save the world, but not now. So I don't like so much this narrative.
I think ticketing would be the best application of NFTs. I personally think that because like huge concerts, the one we had in India also about Coldplay, the
Mm,
tickets also carry an intrinsic memory value. And
mm,
while selling also, the people selling tickets would also they also suffer a bit about ticket hoarding and reselling of tickets.
mm.
So if you have NFTs as tickets, then transferring those would also sometimes you can also hard code some fees in transferring those tickets. So that would also create secondary revenue for the ticket issuer. But
Yeah,
I don't think like I think there are some technical difficulties. I haven't read it in depth about it, but I feel like ticketing was one of the biggest use case about NFTs and that I
yeah.
feel we have missed out on it.
Yeah, definitely. And NFT can be used for, as you said, ticketing, but also for real world asset, to be able to split some real world asset into multiple parts. NFTs, the standards, the technology is good. The narrative that I didn't really like was much more about NFT is art, and NFT is kind of only art, or is driven for art in general. I do think that NFT is very interesting and very, very useful for all the real world situation and use cases that we have. But I don't believe that NFT is only about art, and I don't think that this is where it's thrived the most. For ticketing management, that's perfect. For other type of topic, then it needs to be, it needs to be checked.
Hmm. Okay, I just want to move away from some of the crypto discussion to the
Yeah.
OJ discussion. So, being in crypto for so long and being in industry for I can say over 8-10 years, you obviously need to find some way to integrate with people who are not in crypto as much. So, how do you take your time off from crypto and relax and talk about and definitely not talk about AI coins? Like,
So I'm 40. I will turn 41 in a couple of months. I have 3 kids. So when you have that many kids, it's like a very easy way to think about something else that work. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, but it's not the relaxing type of activities. Most of the time, with the kids, this is much more about going out, jumping around, playing with them, etc., etc. So that can be um, quite demanding in terms of energy. When I want to think of something, so I'm a youth player. I'm also doing skateboard and guitar from time to time. So I like to play guitar just because it's a good way of relaxing, and my kids love the fact that I'm playing guitar from time to time. So this is also very great. Playing video games, it's also a good way to chill out and to think about something else. I'm playing MMORPG, so in general, I'm just jumping into castles and dungeons and fighting creatures and monsters. So this is very, like, when you are in it, you are like 10 minutes in and you already have your mindset that is completely focused on that, and you don't think about anything else. And lastly, yeah, doing skateboard is also a very good way to chill, even though it's kind of difficult physically, because I'm not 20. I'm not 20 years old. I'm 40. So every time I fall on the ground is much harder than it was before. So I felt it I can feel it for like weeks and stuff like that. But it's a very good way of just cruising around, being in the city, going from one skate park or one spot into to another. As I live in Spain, in Barcelona, there is a huge amount of places where I can do skateboard, which is like really amazing.
I think like you mentioned that you're 40 a lot of times, but can really connect with you on that DJN side of thing because the some of the things that you used to relax, I also use them to relax. So video games, yes, I do. I have different sports, but I can play like I love to play cricket and football. So
Ah,
these
nice.
are my so these are my escapes generally from crypto. But I feel like
Yeah,
most people in Web3 have similar way of dealing with non-crypto stuff, like just to keep the crypto part aside.
mm,
Yeah, so that's really great that we have that in.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
play
definitely.
Valorant by
And
any chance?
Valorant, yeah, I've been playing a little
Yeah.
bit of Valorant, but I'm not that great. I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source at the time. I've been playing a lot, and I was in a team, and that was great. But since then, I haven't been playing so much FPS, and there are so many new mechanics on like the new type of FPS that are around. So it's kind of difficult to cope with all those changes. And I can play. I think I played for some time with some friends that are in Hong Kong, and that was great. But I'm not that great at the game, so it gets very quickly very frustrating for me.
I don't think it's the game that gets frustrating, it's the people you play with that get frustrating.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
like
true.
you can't endure being called noob every time you mess up. So you have to find some other games that you love. Just one last question before we wrap this up. We talked a
Yeah.
lot about young developers coming into crypto and Web3. So, what is your one advice that for a developer who is extremely confused and wants to come into Web3 as a, let's just say, DevOps engineer? Because the problem today is not like there are less resources. The problem is there are abundant of resources. So, a person is really confused on which resource to pick to start their journey. So, what is your one advice to any developer who wants to start building in crypto?
So for everything that is Web3 dApp related, like the front-end application that we can have with Jumper.exchange, for example, I will suggest going with TypeScript, with JavaScript, using Ethers.js or using VM libraries to interact with the wallet or interact with the blockchain is still completely enough. Again, work your fundamental. This is best. The difference between a good engineer and a bad engineer is definitely about the fundamental knowledge for the language. Using stuff like Vercel or using stuff like AWS, using for a dApp developer, this is for a dApp engineer, this is not what we are asking. So this is not necessarily super efficient. It's good to know if you want to check out because you are curious, but this is not mandatory. For everything smart contract wise, I will probably advise to continue with Solidity because even though we have a surge in Solana demand right now, because Solana is the ecosystem where you can find meme coins, AI stuff that are pumping hard and dumping hard on the same day or even on the same hour. I will probably advise to continue with EVM related technology, like having strong fundamental in terms of security and in terms of code management and code structure for your smart contract in Solidity is probably the best. There are good tools that you can use for deploying your smart contracts, such as like Hardhat. Hardhat is definitely one of the best, I would say, because it's the easiest one to go. The ecosystem is very complete. There are a big community. You have a strong support, etc., etc. When it comes to DevOps, it's kind of different because DevOps, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, we are managing platform, we are managing infrastructure, we are managing cloud. So we don't necessarily care so much about the fact that it's Web 2 or Web 3, because at the end of the day, that would still be the same kind of infrastructure with the same kind of appliances and the same kind of services, like managed services. So for example, we need a Redis in Web 2 and in Web 3, that's the same. We need a database in Web 2 and in Web 3, that's the same. If you need to manage nodes and to manage blockchain nodes, then the question is a little bit more complex. But I would say the same technology will apply. So for management of blockchain node, I would say Ansible, Kubernetes, and infrastructure as code with Terraform is definitely good. If you are more like traditional API, stuff like that, I think that going with the Kubernetes, Terraform, and so on is very like the bare minimum. And having good fundamental, again, the fundamental, having good fundamental and foundation in networking, in security, in infrastructure as code and in scripting, Bash scripting and Python scripting, why not? It's definitely a must.
Yep. Also, like one like on the same lines, I said it was my last question, but like I just have to ask this. Like, how does one come with a mindset? Because from the outside, it looks like it's really very much to learn. Like I don't know where to start and where to begin because everything looks so big. And like we have been in the industry for at least 3 years. Like I am at least 3 years, so I am saying for both of us. But like in 3 years, I have seen like things go from 0 to 100 a lot fast. And sometimes even I struggle to find out like what is it that they are building and how is it they are building. So how do you expect a newcomer to understand all of this in just a short amount of time? So how would you help, or what advice would you give to someone who is coming into industry as a developer?
So there, as Mr. Vogels, the CTO of Amazon, was saying, there is no shortcut in experience. You cannot shortcut the experience that you are gaining and learning from a decade of work in the industry or work as a developer, right? What can be done is that the mindset and is very important. You don't want to look at the whole mountain of stuff that you have to learn, but just look at one stone and one stone at the time, right? So if you are going to work as an engineer and you just arrive in the company and the company say, yeah, we are using Tailwind, we are using Tailwind CSS to manage our CSS design, right? Then try to learn that. Try to spend like 1 hour or 2 hours just to get the gist of that. Try to create a basic page or a basic application. This is very quick. I mean, creating a new Next.js application with Tailwind is literally 2 minutes of time. And even though it can be even less than that. So 2 minutes of time, you have a playground on which you are able to try, to test, to implement, to just like try it out, right? And the more you are trying stuff with your hands, not with an AI that is generating the tools or generating the code, but just with your hand, going at the documentation, reading the documentation, understanding how it works, then you will see that in less than 2 hours, using this approach, you will get a decent level, enough for you to understand the topic, enough for being able to propose ideas or to propose a way to look at stuff. For example, if there is a CSS issue when you are going from mobile to tablet or tablet to desktop or this kind of stuff that is like breaking the display. This is something that you can probably easily fix with some specific CSS rules. And there is probably a solution that is existing in this framework that the company is using. So look at one element, not at the whole mountain that you have in front of you. This is the best way for you to learn one step at a time and one thing at a time. You are not going to learn everything all at once. You will not have a 15 or 20 years experience in just 1 day or 2 day or 1 week. It's not because we have new tools that will make it easier or that will makes it just being able to do that. You won't be able to do that. You need to experience it yourself. You need to try, fail, learn, and retry again, again, and again.
Yep, that makes sense. And thanks for doing it. I really appreciate you taking out the time. And thank you.
No worries. That was perfect. Thank you very much, Yash, for having me here. And yeah, see you next time.
Okay.